Guys, it's Tom the Geek here. So I know I haven't mentioned it on my channel, but figure this is a good time to throw in. So I watched RWBY by Rooster Teeth. It's really good. If none of you have seen it, you should probably look it up. It's all on YouTube, except for the last episode. Don't watch them out of order, and have tissues ready. Okay, so simply put, stuff happened. Probably spoilers is going to be in it, so spoiler alert. Okay, so some stuff happened. A couple main characters died or lost their will to fight, and I actually had to watch the finale for this season on Rooster Teeth's website. I don't like doing that because their website and my computer don't get along very well, but I just wanted to watch it and be done. And I read the comments when it was over, and so here's where the spoilers comes in. Pyra dies. Yeah. That's the big deal. Yang loses her arm, Blake runs away, Weiss is taken away by her daddy, but Pyra dies. And a lot of people are arguing whether or not she should come back. You know, Deus Ex Machina, stuff like that. I don't think she should. But I don't think she should be left alone either. I mean, in a writer sense, I don't think letting her not exist is a good thing. So, give me 1 sec. I'm going to fix this lighting over here, hopefully, so it doesn't look like I have heaven to my side, although that's cool. It's not practical. Oh, now it's more noise, more bright. Okay, that's not going to happen, so we're going to have to stick with heaven. Okay, so pyridine. It's bad, it's emotional, and it's exactly what you want out of this kind of show, the way they were going. But, she's also an important character. And, it sucks. But the way they had her die makes me think almost that they don't want her to be completely gone, because she dissolved in such a way. She didn't, die from a bullet wound and just bleed out. She didn't get eaten by a Grimm like Roman. Spoiler there. And, she didn't just disappear. I think, at least what I'd do, and I like to think of myself as a writer, I would, probably, what would be the correct term? I would make it where she still talks with the party in maybe not a spiritual way, but literally we already have it explained that Atlas has technology to read auras and stuff like that. I think it wouldn't be bad if, how do I put this? If they had her somehow become pretty much a hologram, or at least for a little bit. Because we have a few problems. John didn't get to say goodbye. That's not gonna stand. And if they don't fix it, and I can tell you for the next year or whatever it's gonna take them, there's gonna be 400 million fan fictions on how John gets to say goodbye. Not save her, but just say goodbye. That is good. You don't want your characters to not say goodbye. I mean, for God's sakes, you don't want your watchers, your viewers, to not say goodbye. You want, literally, there to be a moment where everyone can look at Pyra, or at least some part of her, and say goodbye. Thing is, during that fight, it was fairly obvious she was going to die when her sword broke. In a lot of different media, the sword breaking, that character's sword breaking, means they're going to die. Their sword is an extension of them. And I think it's Extra Credits actually does a really cool thing on the idea of the gun in Mega Man versus a lot of American stuff. I'll pop a link down in the description. I can't put it on my videos. I don't have any viewers and that kind of weird stuff. But in this setting, the way it's going, the weapon is an extension of the character. It can be replaced, but it won't be without reason. For example, the fact Ozpin's cane is still intact makes me lean towards the fact he's not dead, or at least is not done doing stuff. Know what I mean? It's like he's trapped, he's hurt, maybe even dead, but his part in the story is not over. And although different things happened with Pyrrha, where her weapon broke, her shield is nowhere to be found, at least not from what we can tell, and she dissolved, I'm hoping that they use this Atlas technology to bring her back for a little bit. Not as a character, she's dead. Leave her dead. It's sad, it's not good, but if she's dead, she's dead. I also think that it's for the best in this sense. They want to make Jean get stronger. And in any type of story like this, vengeance is a great motivator. And I'm thinking he's going to die too. Maybe not next season, but by the time it's over, he might die. And that's okay. I think it's the right thing to do. If that's what is right, if that's what they should do, if that makes sense, it should be. And he shouldn't die. He shouldn't be resisting death as much as resisting what's going to happen. If we're going to go with the whole he's deathly in love with Pyrrha still. And that's alright. I know that's right now what I'm saying a lot, but it's alright. If he dies, it's okay. Okay, so now on to Yang's arm. Which, her losing her arm isn't the big deal. It's her losing her will that destroyed her. She doesn't believe she can fight. And a lot of people have ideas like her mom's going to come in, she's going to get a robotic arm and learn how to fight. If they do that, that's awesome. But what might be better, especially with the sense they're going with, is they have to get Yang angry. And we all know where that goes. It lost her arm last time, but that's okay. It shows weakness. But what if her aura or her semblance, when she gets angry, she gets a literal fiery arm? I mean, only when she gets really angry. It's not going to be useful for every fight, but it will be useful for a continued trip. If you're going to continue her character. If not, I really don't want to see Yang burn out, but what they're gonna do, I can't say. What I hope they do is, rather than giving Yang some robotic arm, give her something that gives her will. Some motivating force, even if it's to find Blake. To go do that and put her in a situation where she gets super angry. So angry that she's willing to die. Maybe fighting Adam again, maybe just saving Blake from another Grimm. Where she jumps in and she's prepared to die. You know, she has her one arm and that's it. And she still has her gauntlet for it, but her entire style is based off this 1-2 punching from a boxing style. But if you can do it in such a way where she just gets her arm first long enough to beat this grip, not even keep it, but give her that, make it the final step of her getting her willpower back. That would be awesome. And from a story perspective, that's what I'd do, but I'm someone who sits there and it's like, I've been writing my own stuff where this already happened, and I'm actually writing a fan fiction based off the future, off a completely different team, where all of this bad stuff happened, and short of Pyrrha dying and Yang losing her arm, that's kind of what happened. It got worse, actually. But I enjoy this kind of dark stuff, because you can bring out so much more character, and this kind of dark stuff lets you create hope. You know, Ruby, Jean, Ren, and Nora heading off to Haven, what it looks by on foot, because they don't have the communications tower anymore. They don't have ships. They are completely cut off. They're going to have to walk or hitchhike or do something to get to Haven, which I don't remember the map exactly, but it's a pretty long trip no matter what. I mean, if they were going to Atlas, they'd have to literally walk on water or take a boat, but probably walk on water. It's a spark of hope, and if they do what I hope they do, what they're going to have Ruby and Ren and Nora and Jean do, they're going to travel and create hope. That's it. That's the only reason I can imagine Crow letting them go. I mean, obviously they're setting up Crow to be the new Ozpin, or at least the temporary Ozpin. They've given him the cane, and really what it looks like he's doing is he can't stop them, but also it's not just he knows he can't stop them. He can't lock them all in a room. He can't stop them because they're the last hope. Forget that Beacon's been destroyed. It looks like the whole world's on the verge of war. I mean, Vale, to everyone else, as they explained, it looks like Atlas has been attacked by Vale. Vale has been attacked by Atlas. Forget that last second. It looks like there's a war. And that makes Ironwood the bad guy to a lot of people, especially with Ozpin dead. The city's in ruins, Grimm have invaded. Beacon, one of the 4 great training centers, is destroyed. Its students evacuated. And Vale looks like, although in the end they don't know how many people stayed till the end, but I hope you all did. It was really good. They pulled a whole little, I think it's Marvel, where you have a little bit after credits. It's really cool. But Glinda's lost hope even. And now Glinda, for all of her faults, and you have a lot of them, and I guess you wouldn't call them faults, but she's a strict person. You can understand why a lot of people ship her with Ironwood, because they're similar personalities. She's strict. She's militarily strict. But the reason she's like that is because I think she suffered something major. And that's why she's so strict. She doesn't want to see more people die. And the thing is, she's lost hope because the last hope for Vale is dead. And she views that last hope as Ozpin. And from everything she can tell, he's dead. And her academy's gone. She's drained of energy, and she's lost hope, so she can't even use her powers to rebuild the city. When she was fighting for the city, she was fine. It was when the city fell that was the problem. So, I don't know how they're going to do that, but they have a lot of characters that they've set up to be hopeless. And it's beautiful, because you put this late in the series, where it's like, we're 3 seasons in, and you put it where you spent the entire season with a happy moment, the festival, and it all went bad. Hit the fan, everything went wrong. Grimm invasion, White Fang killing people, Blake being stabbed in the gut, barely surviving that, Yang losing her arm, Pyrrha dying, looks like Ozpin's dead, and then we learn Ruby has new powers, which is cool, because I was kind of questioning what Silver Eyes had to do with anything, and why it would be such a big deal. But that's not the thing. 4 kids, 4 superheroes couldn't change the world. What they have to do is do something that makes everyone hopeful again. And without hope and unity, the only way the story can go is by wiping out the world and the humans being destroyed by the Grimm. And the Faunus, too. Because the truth is, the Faunus, the White Fang, all of them, they're doomed if the kingdoms fall. They rely too heavily on them. They rely on fighting them, but they also rely on them for shelter, safety, where they steal their guns and dust from. So, I can't wait to see what happens, but I know I have never posted a video like this before, and I don't know what the quality is going to be like. I'm going to check it when I'm done here, but it's probably not going to be great. I'm using my webcam off my computer here and the speakers, so if all of that's working, it'll be great. But if not, I'll come up with something. I'll probably have to re-record this whole thing, and I don't have notes. But I really am disappointed I'm going to have to wait a year for this, and unless they're going to change something, it's going to be a year. It will be interesting to see where they go. But until then, they're going to have so many new fan fictions building it up. Last time I checked fan fiction before today on how many RWBY things there were, stories, there were about 8,000 RWBY stories. Today I hop on to check interest. There's 12,000. They've gained 50% more just from this season alone. So the fan base isn't dead. It's obvious by the fact how many comments there are everywhere. But I think what's going to do is it's going to be interesting, and I hope that it doesn't take a year for them to make it. I understood why it took so long last time with Monty dying, and I think there was question among them, even when they were making it, if they were actually going to finish it. You know, by finish it, I mean release it. And I think it's a big risk of theirs that they did it. I mean, if they had screwed up, they would have made Monty look bad. And I don't think they screwed up. I do think they messed up in some places, and I might make a video about that. But they did good, is what I'm trying to say here. And I hope they don't Deus Ex Machina or do something to bring back certain characters like Pyrrha, except for, like I was saying, that whole saying goodbye, or maybe Cortana-ing her. And I know I used Cortana as a... don't worry. But making her like a hologram, temporary or not, that literally just exists to give last advice, explain certain things, and say goodbye. I mean, she might have gotten to say goodbye, but definitely we didn't, and definitely John didn't. He was fighting tooth and nail to save her, begging for Weiss and RWBY to save her. And to be honest, I think that's the saddest part. Her dying wasn't bad. She died a hero, fighting for what she believed in. But Jean, he got screwed, man. I mean, we've been spending the last 3 seasons saying, come on, Jean, stop focusing on Weiss. And now he's finally, almost got to be in a relationship with Pyrrha, and she died. I mean, yeah, she kissed him, but she died. And she saved his life, but if he doesn't have survivor's guilt, it wouldn't be what I'd expect, because they've really built this series, especially this last season, on being believable and realistic. And they all should have survivor's guilt. Maybe not horribly, but definitely Jean. I mean, there should be moments where he's saying, if I was just a little bit stronger, if I didn't let her push me into that locker, maybe she'd still be alive. Now that's that. Okay, this is Tom the Geek. I'm signing off.